here for no particular reason, to be honest. Got rid of the doors, wanted to put on the camera. Still raining, as you can see. Right. So as you build something or you create something, right, not only are you creating it for yourself, you're creating it for others. I mean, in some instances, you might be like, "Oh, I'm just doing it for myself, not others." But you gotta think, even with that knowledge, you're still living for other people. You might live for yourself, but you're still doing things not just for the validation of others, but for the community. Some people might, be okay if. Let me put it like this: imagine if there was nobody. I mean, absolutely nobody, but you still retain all your memories and everything. Right? Got a big house, nice car, infinite food. You wouldn't be fulfilled. You wouldn't have that sense of urgency to do anything because you're by yourself. As humans, we still need someone. We tend to go insane without having someone, not even close, but just in the area, just knowing there's somebody out there. It's better than just being by yourself. And the way I'm putting it is probably not the correct way because, some people might take it as a way like, I don't need nobody. I got my own. But even with that, you get consumed by your thoughts and the depression of being alone. So why truly do anything if you know you're the only person on earth? You can dissect and break everything down, but why have any true feelings if you're by yourself? Why feel anything? I think the reason we don't call ourselves so-called animals is because we have a higher consciousness than other animals, other beings. But we're not the only thing that has a higher consciousness, do we? It's hard to say. Honestly, we need some type of attention, some type of love, some type of worth. Yeah, I'm doing this for myself, but also not just the validation of others, but I want to spread what I think and what I know. So without other people, there'd be so many things that wouldn't be made. Other ideas wouldn't be made. Devices, inventions, thoughts, ideologies. Imagine you the only person on earth. One day I'm gonna tell you the story why I named everything Solitude, why I go by Solitude, But as I said in one of my videos, I said being alone and being lonely is two different things. You be about a bunch of people and still feel lonely. Now being alone, you're physically and mentally by yourself. But there's nothing wrong with being alone. Cherish the parts that you can have while being alone. I think we misinterpret what solitude really means. Isolation and solitude gets confused. I would never isolate myself from you or others just because I don't feel a certain way. But you don't have to, be, a social butterfly to understand that you have some days where you don't want to talk to anybody. You don't want to do anything except just stay in your bed and not weep, but just not even soak, but just relax. There's days like that where you need to. So taking solitude is way better than isolation. Don't isolate yourself from others because it's a continuous thing that becomes to be a poison that creates overthinking and depression. every word that you would say will be taken as a joke or something serious. We were all raised differently, so that's why you see so many disconnects. That's why relationships fail, because the way they were raised or the things they experienced has changed them in a different manner. Um, what's next, you know? What's next after this blows up? You know, what's next when I'm known? What's next? Healing the world or disappearing? And I'm only gonna heal the world once, you know? Big ambitions for a nobody, right? I know. But when I heal the world, I'm only gonna heal it once. If it gets broken again, it's not my fault. It'll never be. Because there's always a missing hole when something's trying to get fixed. It might be a temporary fix. There's no such thing as a permanent fix. Even with those so-called permanent fixes, tends to crack, tends to seep in, and breaks down over time. Do you think anything can be permanently fixed? Or can it be covered up? Sauceed? Or can it be covered up or, you know, imitating being fixed? Because once you're broken, you can never be fully fixed. It would never stay the same. You break a glass, you fix it back up, you glue it. It still has scars from the broken part. Just as a body, you get a cut, you heal it. Temperature, weather, you picking at it, it doesn't heal the same. I don't know, man. We do things for people and we do things for ourselves. You figure out which one you are, you know? But I know I don't do it for myself, I do it for others. It's different from wanting attention from others than seeking validation. Both can be equally good or equally bad. You just gotta figure it out, you know? You get consumed by the distractions of the world. Who's doing who's extra, you know? You get consumed by that. And I was consumed by that when I was in school, you know? And I don't even want to make that as an excuse, so I was young, you know? No, I don't want to make that excuse. I seen the defects in the system and I still chose to use it. I still chose to use it, and it hurts me. Because while I was using that system, it was poisoning me to the point where it was unhealable. I still have scars mentally. Things I have done off of validation of others were trying to seem something that was not. You know, sometimes when people do super bad, they try to do a 180 to the point where, you know, they're still the same, but they try to hide it, you know. Either they become super spiritual, you know, super religious, or they just completely disappear, you know. We don't truly know anything, you know? Otherworldly distractions will keep us from our path. Emotions speak truth, but also hate. Sometimes you are forced to evolve, even if you don't want to. Other times, people evolve just to say there's something different, they change, when they haven't really changed at all. Are you different, or you want to be seen different? Any way you put it, you will still be seen as something you're not, no matter how hard you try. No matter how hard you try, you will still be seen as that same person before. You do a 180, a 360, it still wouldn't matter, because you will still be seen as that person you were before. But even when people do change, is it the right reason? I truly do not know. Maybe it's just the rainy days getting to me, very gloomy, you know? But as humans, we're supposed to have fluctuating emotions. They say it's a sign of sickness that you have otherworldly emotions, or you feel something in the moment. They call you bipolar, you know? They call you schizophrenic. They call you so many things because you don't fit the so-called norm. What is the norm for you? How do you know what's normal and you only been in human for a couple of years? You only been conscious for half that life. So how do you know what's normal? Because you react off of others? Because you see what others do? And then you take that with you and you internalize it, and then you try to manipulate it into the point where you think you're better? How do you know what's so-called normal? Otherworldly things you do not control. But you see other people doing it, and you try to fit that aesthetic, you know? As I'm talking, this is an aesthetic. Being deep and spiritual is an aesthetic. Being self-aware is an aesthetic. Being earthy. Fashion is an expression that also has been ruined by saturation. So has work, art, love. Everything is saturated to the point where there's no understanding of the true meaning of the word. You don't suffer from an overpopulation. You suffer from a pandemic. Everybody want to be others. Being yourself means nothing. And I shall end this off because I don't have any else to say, you know? I don't know that much, neither do you, but we'll try together. It's been fun.